Welcome to the School Photo Podcast, the show where we dive into the world of school photography, innovation, and the future of capturing school memories. With me, your host, Steve Brooker, and guests, in each episode we'll explore the latest trends, challenges, and breakthroughs in the school photo industry. With funny stories from our schools to best business practices and some new innovation to help us all. Whether you're a large multinational company, a sole photographer, or you're just passionate about the evolution of school photos, this podcast is for you. Grab a cuppa, settle in, and let's get started. This is the School Photo Podcast. Happy days. Welcome back to the School Photo Podcast. Today I have got the honour of being joined by Martyn Headley, who is one of the owners of John Hunt. Martyn, good day, mate.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. Good, thank you.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, nice to see you again. Nice to talk to you anytime.
Yeah, I appreciate that, mate. It's good. Yeah, so we've bumped into each other over the last year or so, haven't we? A couple of events.
Yeah.
What do we have? We had the Got Photo event. We had David's event up in Birmingham.
Yeah.
It was great. So yeah, we thought that was probably a great start for us to have a conversation. I think one of the things I did find and notice very early on was how our brains are just completely not probably wired right.
Yeah, or wired completely right, and everyone else is wrong. That's how I see it when I speak to you. It gets stuff done.
Get stuff done. Yeah. So who knows? We haven't planned this podcast about what we're going to talk about. We've just literally said we need to have this chat and record it and share it out there. And if it's a benefit to anyone, then all good, hopefully. So
yeah,
talk to us about John Hunt. Tell us about the history. Obviously, you're the opposite end of the country to us. Tell us about the history of John Hunt.
Yeah, so John Hunt Photography was started in the 80s, so it's been around for a long time. John himself was the one who started it. He's still around. He's my stepdad, and in fact, he turned me down for a photographer job the first time I applied. And then I came back to him a few years later, and we needed a packing, when we used to scan the QR codes, and we used to send them off to a lab. So it was scanning the QR codes, counting the cash, organizing the orders, basically. And then I became a photographer. And then I found it really boring, the seasonality of it. So I started playing around with Photoshop, learning that, and then just thought, I actually saw a lab bill on John's floor, and I was like, oh, that's quite a lot. So started messing around with Photoshop, and then we got in some dye sub printers just to print, a few orders just to sort of test the concept. And then I was like, why don't we just get a lab?
Yeah.
And we can start printing our own stuff. And then, sort of did a combined role of photographer and lab operator, I guess. It was a bit.
Was this a wet lab back in the day, doing all the chemicals and everything?
Yeah, it started with dye sub, and then we moved on to a wet lab. It was like a hacked up Noritsu by a company in Cornwall. I can't quite remember the name, but it was rebranded, and it didn't quite work. And there was one guy who did the support, so we had to make our own tools and
go through the learning.
We learned quite a lot. Yeah. And then we moved on to Fuji Labs when we proved the concept that we could get it out. And today we just kind of carried on expanding. John stepped back a little bit, well, quite a lot, but he's still around.
Yeah, perfect.
And me and Marks have kind of taken up the general running of the company.
Marks is your brother, right?
Yeah, Marks is my brother. Sorry, yeah. So our office looks like a teenager's bedroom because we haven't sort of moved on from that. But, it's kind of fun to work with your brother.
Yeah, and you're quite different as well, from spending time with you both. You are quite different. Bring different skills to the game, eh?
Yeah. I think my mum might have had a meeting with the milkman. No, I'm joking. Definitely not. But we do look. I don't think you would put us as brothers when we stood next to each other.
No, I didn't.
No. But we are. We definitely are.
Brilliant. And so you're scale-wise, size-wise, you're at 400 odd schools. Is that about the size of the business?
Just over 400. It fluctuates a little bit, but about 420, something like that.
And are you predominantly primary schools, high schools? What's the mix?
Yeah, but recently we've moved into high schools quite quite a lot. So our September's very busy with high schools, start of September. And then it quietens down to like kind of what we know, which is primary schools. I would say that's only happened in the last 5 years. We've started picking those up.
The thing I've noticed with high schools, when I've spoken to people in the industry, is that they say we don't want to go near high schools. They're hard to book. They're hard to get. But for me, them first 2 weeks of September are all high schools, and the good ones you're potentially pushing a 5-figure day on a good big high school when you're selling, right? You know, I can't understand the thought process behind saying we don't ever want to do them because the kids aren't interested. There are barriers. You know, it's a different market, and if we can get parents pre-registered, brilliant, because you can communicate directly to them. One of the biggest issues that we see with high schools is kids scanning the QR code, not liking it, and never getting it home.
100%.
Which completely screws all of our stats, because we think that all these people have logged in and viewed it and nobody likes it, when actually it's all 14-year-old kids going, nope, not giving it to mum.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you take that into account when you go into the job and you realise that some of them aren't going to get home, it would be good to have a direct line to the parents.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
So funny. We've got a couple of schools that do a mail merge for us directly from their CRM, from their MIS system. Brilliant, really good, because then every parent gets the link for it. And you just see the numbers coming in. Because I think high school parents.
But I've never understood. I've never understood. People are dead. I've been to conferences where they've said we don't do high schools, and the photographers find them easier.
Yep.
And everyone seems to enjoy them, really. There was one occasion where I did have a piece of jelly thrown at my head from the stalls. But I mean, if you're going to throw something, a piece of jelly is quite funny. It clunked on my head and stuck to my head. It could have been worse.
It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Did you ever speak to Marcus about doing it again? Not doing it again? Came from a photographer, didn't it?
Yeah, I never saw where it came from. It might have been one of the photographers.
But yeah, we find high schools in them early terms, like, they're great for training as well for staff, because they are so high paced. It probably tests out your system quick in September to find out if the primary school is going to be all right. But yeah, so high schools.
I think whenever we've had problems with high schools, it's been the data hasn't been organised well from the first minute. So they're sending down a whole year group, and we don't have them in the order. We've learned by making that mistake and just asking, how is it going to be organised? And now the photographers know how to ask about the day.
Yeah, and almost giving them a guide. We've got a guide that we will send to them on an email and say, we understand you've got your way of doing it. However, for us, this really does work perfectly. If you want to integrate it, feel free. And some schools, the ones that are organised, have already got it down. So we just run with what they want to do. We've got a couple of schools that they'll come to us, and then they'll go and do their fingerprints and stuff with the fingerprint people for lunch, and their day is just photographs and disruption, and it's carnage. Do you go back and do anything else in high schools other than the main portraits?
We do a couple of like whole year groups where we're using Carmel Jane or Duns now. We're getting them to shoot those, but we do the we make them on a background, so we take them individually, stood up and sat down, and then we can make like a digital version of it. We sometimes will do galleries for each year or each form group for the schools. I think
trying to fill that January time with year 11 high school stuff was always like the leavers. Maybe do some friendship pictures for the leavers, and
we've never touched on that because in my we've never done leavers groups just because of the madness. We do with high schools. I've done some cool drone stuff and video and things like that. When the schools I had to do first person view fly through of the whole school. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I bet it was.
So we've done some video work and just general photography stuff for the websites, things like that.
Yeah. I think they've got bigger budgets to spend typically, So that thing with our industry is we have got the parent customers, but we've also got a corporate customer in there as well, which I think for a lot of us is untapped. We've got a number of schools that say that they might have used a media company in the past or a promotions company. We're sitting there with all the equipment we need and the skills and ability to actually facilitate that.
I just had this conversation the other day with our photography manager that we have everything. Let's get it out there.
Yeah. I think that is an under, when we all talk about seasonality, it is quite an underappreciated option that we are in there with that school, and there's a commercial element to it as well as what we do for the parents. It is a different skill set. It's a different skill set and a different set of parameters and the way that we do it. But I think if anyone is looking at how do we fill them empty times, and we do it, we do website photos and various other stuff for schools just to try and help fill that quiet time and give a big perceived value.
I mean, you're right. You're definitely right in terms of the photography is a different skill set. The video is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Another thing is the virtual tours. And when we were down at David's at Dunn's, I was looking around the room at the photographers. This is something that we've done, but we've done it over maybe 10 years plus.
Okay.
We got the drone in like the 2010s,
right?
And did all that stuff then. And I looked around the room and I saw that people looked a bit worried, like we can't do these things. I mean, you single person photographer buying drone, camera equipment, editing software, learning how to edit, all those things seem daunting.
Yeah.
But they're not that. It's not that daunting when and I just felt like I wanted to stand up and say, honestly, it's not that hard. We can not over glamorize it or over complicate it. We could kind of help people with that. I mean, I think we're moving ahead of ourselves here, but it's just that kind of thing of people should give it a shot, rent some equipment,
or
go and do
come and shadow someone that's doing it. Come and spend a bit of time with one of us.
That's kind of what I was getting to. We've talked about this being happy to help people with stuff like that.
The whole thing of the podcast, of the events, of the other stuff we'll get onto no doubt in a little while about the conferences and stuff. Like the whole purpose of that is to try and support each other. And I think we've probably gone on slightly different journeys. So I came from leaving a job and setting up from scratch. That one person photographer, that is what it was. And for me to try and drop 600 quid on a drone at any point early days was just never going to happen. Not unless I had one or two jobs booked in that I knew were covering the cost of that bit of equipment. And that was generally what we did with photo booths, was that a corporate client wanted something. And if they gave me 3 bookings through the course of the year, I could invest in that equipment and know it's paid for from there. But outsourcing and partnering with other people, the reason you and I haven't brought staging is because we've got Neil and David from Carmel, Jane and Dunn's that do a fantastic job of that. I mean, I don't think absolutely. David's going to remember you and I after he's out photographing the King now yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he photographed the King yesterday, yeah.
No?
Yeah, don't forget us, David. We're still here, mate. So good job to him and them guys for getting involved in that circle. But yeah, not having the equipment and not having the understanding. We spoke about video editing, didn't we? That you love doing that. That's a fantastic skill that you've got.
Yeah, I enjoy it, yeah.
I don't have that skill or inclination to learn it, but actually being able to pass work between each other and support each other, there is mileage in that. And that goes out to the wider community. How many people are listening to this or going to be involved in the industry that have got skills that aren't being utilized or monetized that could support and help somebody else?
Absolutely. And I would also say that in terms of even photography though and video, is the way that we started it was to do something we enjoyed. So I just had a mobile phone and and started trying to learn how to making a Pokemon channel on YouTube. But the ultimate goal was to learn how to do the stuff. So it was like, okay, that's not quite good enough. Let's buy a camera. Let's learn the camera.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of learning involved, but it's nothing too complicated. I mean, kids are doing it
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
very
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
You
it's
know?
exactly it. It's that
Yeah.
that it's changed. You mentioned earlier on about them days of counting the cash in the envelopes, and I remember days of going to schools and picking up a bag full of cash and walking
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
London because you can't park anywhere to get back to the car 2 streets away with a bag full of bloody cash. You think that is
Yeah.
mental. Can you imagine trying to ask a photographer to do that now? It would be just madness.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. And it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't too long
It
ago.
really
You know,
wasn't.
COVID. Before COVID, we were still picking up the occasional bag.
Yeah. Well, we had one of our girls the other day. She went, "How did you get around without sat nav?" Like literally had Google Maps. Like, how did you manage to
Yeah,
find a school? Like, oh my god!
stressfully.
Yeah, these blue signs. We read them. That's all that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just thinking back to. It wasn't that long ago. I mean, we're all now talking about different softwares, different ways that we can manage
Yeah.
data and all the other stuff. But I mean, it weren't long ago. We'd turn up, take a picture, and send it on a proof card and hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the industry's moved on so much, and it's exciting now. I think, as we've found from these various events and conferences, about where it can go from here with the people that are involved at the top of it, as in running and managing the companies that are prepared to talk and are prepared to work together and do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where our kind of ceiling is. You know, this kind of past attitude of not working with each other, or like there's some, you know, we have some secret that we're trying to keep away from everyone. When I mean, I know technology's moved on and things like that, but it's not really changed. If someone came in, you know, an old photographer from 20 years ago, I'm pretty sure they could pick it up within a day.
Yeah.
It's not really changed that much. The products aren't, you know, massively different. Nothing's a secret because everything's online. You know, so
yeah, we all
I
get proof cards from other
really see it.
companies. Everyone can see the different prices. It's there is this
Yeah.
slightly archaic idea. I think it's going now. I think there's nowhere near what it was. Just of
Yeah.
you know, I can't tell anyone the prices. Nobody can see what's going on. We kind of need to almost.
I mean, I'm sure there are people still sat around. This is probably a common theme, you know, with the head in the hands because they've had a terrible day. There's just unavoidable things that happen. There are personalities involved. There are many staff, you know, so it can kind of trip it up. But when you get together and you're talking about these problems, you go, oh, it's all the same problems. Yeah. But if you don't know that everyone else is having that problem, you could think you're maybe not doing a good job.
Yeah, or you think it's all falling apart.
Yeah, and it's not the case. You know, we see a salesperson from a different company is doing, you know, our area is quite tight. They're doing the area. So you find out about these things. Yeah. To someone who didn't have, you know, just had a few schools, that could be a real threat to threat to the livelihood.
And that's where it comes. That's where it feels like it becomes personal to people that aren't. That maybe haven't gone through the process, because you know we've got people that are businesses bigger than ours that are listening to this, and one-man bands that are listening to this, looking to hear versions of events going, thank God for that. I thought that it was just me, and it really isn't. You know, I don't think there is anyone out there at the moment that is attacking and trying to viciously take work from people. We have to do that. That's the game. Is that for us to book it, it has to come from someone. And you know, there's been talk in various rooms about, is it worthless looking at trying to get some agreement in place? But for me personally, I don't necessarily think that you're going to. That's not going to work. It's never going to work. It's like
business owners by nature, and I'm sure you're the same. You might not be, but I get the impression you are. Can be quite belligerent about their own ideas. Yeah. If someone comes into my business and tells me what to do, I'm going to, in no uncertain terms, tell them to go away.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of everyone. To get to the point where you're in charge of it, you have to be responsible and take ownership of your own ideas. I've made so many mistakes in pricing, and you know, like I've made those mistakes and learned from them. I'm still not going to listen to someone who tells me that I have to do it that way, because I've got an idea of how I want the business to to run. That can change, especially working with people. But ultimately, this is why I'm doing it, because I don't want to. Well, it's not even that I don't want a boss. I think I couldn't have a boss.
Borderline unemployable, yeah.
And I'm sure there are many people like that, that can't,
Yeah.
Can't have someone in charge of them.
Yeah. Especially once you've spent time doing this, you've spent time running your own time and running your own hours, and that's certainly not a case of doing less hours. By the time you've spent all the evenings,
no, more hours than I've ever done working for someone else.
Yeah, don't ever work out the hourly rate. That's what people tell us, isn't it?
No, I've made that mistake before. It's not worth it.
But I think that the greater wins and the greater, we've just booked our Christmas party here, and people are talking about what we're going to be doing in the summer and various other stuff. There's an R&B night they're planning to go to. Youngsters are having none of it. But it is, I think that trying to collaborate and build something that is worth having is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And as stressed as all the people that I've spoke to, as stressed as they might be, like, I'm not that stressed because I get to speak to people like you, and it's really reaffirming. So I go like, maybe I am doing, it's all right, and it removes a level of stress. Yeah. But everyone I have spoke to is proud of what they're doing, and they enjoy it. That's why they do it.
It's almost like we're all a bit proud of them scars. Yeah, so no one else is going to know that, but we had a bit of a technical glitch where internet dropped, MacBook dropped, middle of the podcast. We have no signal, which isn't ideal at all. So sorry about that, Martin, mate. We'll
no problem.
We'll get some fancy edit in there and make it good. But yeah, I mean, I think we were just talking about collaboration, weren't we? At that point, it was about how the industry seems so much more open to collaborating and working together.
Yeah. And it's really good. It's really nice to chat to people. Yeah, like I say, it's reaffirming in most cases. I don't think anyone's come away from any of these things thinking, "Oh God, I'm not doing a good job."
No,
I would hope not.
Yeah.
I would.
You wouldn't want anyone to go feel like that. But
no.
But we've spoken, haven't we? That I think that a number of the events that we've been to, we come away not necessarily finding a new holy grail of it, but also have a little bit of reassurance of going, okay, similar problems, similar challenges, a couple of different options of solutions. That's great, perfect. We can try and implement that. And when speaking to other people through various stages of business size, it seems to be a common thing. People going, okay, well, we are in this industry together, and we are all responsible for trying to keep it alive against mobile phones and against parents and a new generation of parents coming through who may not value the heritage of it, if you like.
Yeah. I have said before that I think this sort of next generation that are coming through now will probably value the analog a little bit more because they've got so much digital going on to receive a nice photos. Good. I'm seeing a bit of an upturn this year in traditional class groups. Sorry, moving away from those classmates. It could be that it's been around so long, they had that when they were at school.
Yeah,
the sort of composite picture we call them classmates. That they just want a traditional class photo.
Yeah, and actually that is great. Get people actually feeling the value of. I mean, I remember we were a similar age. I remember there was a shoebox under the cupboard under the stairs of all of the photographs, and every now and again as a kid you go and dig that box out and have a little look through. Whereas thousands of pictures are now stored on phones.
That's it.
Something that we briefly spoke about before was regarding just the perception of people's images and photos, just from the kids' point of view. How many members of staff come in and they say, "Oh, I hate my picture being taken," and this self-deprecating culture that seems to be being bred. And I'm sure that all school photographers have that, where they go into a school and people just hate having their picture taken.
Mm.
How do we fix that? Can we fix that?
Yeah, I mean, not having filters on things like that, like what they actually look like.
Yeah.
I find it kind of sad because there's part of me that sees what we do as the record keepers. We take all those pictures. I know it exists in a digital cloud, but no one ever pulls out a photo. They look through thousands of photos when they need a photo. They take the one off the wall or the.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know how we add value to that. I think it is print. I think the more we move away from print, the worse it is for us as a whole. You see like a resurgence in film.
Yeah.
Film photographers.
And record players.
Exactly, because it's a tactile real thing rather than it just going off to a cloud somewhere.
And these things all stood the test of time when there wasn't other options. These things all stood the test of time. And are we going through phases at the moment of your, Facebook's not as popular as it was. You tell a teenager about Facebook and they think you're a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And that's only been there for a number of years.
Yeah. I don't want to sound like an old bloke harking back to the good old days because, I'm happy to embrace technology, but I also like an album, something that I can actually have and own myself.
Yeah.
And I think other people are coming around to that now, coming back around to it,
Yeah.
I think they're realizing that when they take a picture, it's just going up to a profile and feeding the AI and the social media things, which we can't do. We're not uploading it to anywhere. We're not taking that data and using it.
No.
We're recording a physical product, and then it's gone.
And then returning it as it was meant to look, as it looked in real life, as that moment was.
Exactly. It's a moment in time. And I have all my kids' photos throughout the years. They're all around, I think it's just a lovely thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't understand why people get so frustrated about the price. Maybe we're not communicating that well enough, I don't know. So I do look at some pricing and think, Jesus Christ, that's a lot for, and I know there's a lot going into it. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong to think that.
But then I think that the pricing is literally just very different businesses models, isn't it? If someone's telling me that they're getting 75 quid for a download all option of 3 or 5 images and they're getting it regularly, and we're mid-20s for that product, then who's the fool almost, But then where does the balance tip? Gone there,
yeah.
Where does the balance?
They could be great at premium brand awareness. They're selling handbags for thousands of pounds.
Yep.
One company sell it for thousands, and Primark will sell it for a lower price. I mean, I don't think that's an issue.
No. I think that the business naturally finds its own price point. And you soon see if you're retaining work and if you're keeping the schools and if the parents are still buying and your percentages are where they need to be, and ultimately if the business is profitable. Because it's where does it end where you keep trying to nick 2-3 quid a pack when actually you end up losing a school or you lose a handful of schools or a trust or whatever it may be off that little bit of being greedy, but then by the same token all our staff want more money. And all of
I mean, I'm never going to accuse someone of being greedy. They could be running something slightly different.
Yeah.
They could be, they might have extra staff to make their staff's day a little bit easier. They might, everyone should charge what the hell they want.
Yeah.
We tend not to make price a big deal because I don't know why.
Well,
why we don't.
The price situation is that we're all offering something in or around a tenner, and we're all offering something in or around higher numbers. Yeah. And it's the parents' choice to find where they want to be in the middle of that.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Do they spend more because they get more, or do they spend what they've got available to spend at that point for school photos? I think that's where it, for me, I think that there's a lot of families and a lot of parents out there that have got a finite amount of money they can budget to go towards this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're going to struggle for them to find the money elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
by the nature of us having this conversation and running the businesses we do, we're probably in a lot more privileged position than a lot of our customers might be.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So just, that bit of an understanding of the single mum in the high-rise flat with 3 kids that is struggling to put uniforms on their back. It's not for us to tell her she needs to spend 50 quid because we want new toys.
No. Absolutely not.
So what's the thoughts on where where is the next phase of the school photography world? Where do you think it's going? What do you think's the next interesting?
I mean, there's where I want it to go and where I think it's going to go. I think it's going to. It seems to be moving towards mats, academies, and kind of like single points of control. And what I want to see is loads of new people in the business, loads of new innovation, different stuff all over. I get a leaflet, it looks nothing like mine from a competitor, and they're offering something completely new, and we can do,
and it works. And it works as a model, and it works as a
and parents love it. It doesn't have to be me that thinks of the thing. We all end up sharing the idea in the end. So why not? If it's beneficial to the business as a whole, the industry, where I would want it to go, we've had this group that are trying to bring photographers together. What I would like to happen is it to kind of, in some ways, go towards what the Americans do, where we offer a lot more to the school. So sports and events and things like that. But that we get into season and we can't do it. And there are loads of sports photographers out there that we could work with and we could bring people together. But I think we need to kind of get together as an industry first and go, this is how schools are done. How do we do sports like the Americans do? How do we do those, like the photo booth that you've got? What a great idea. You just loading that into it. I assume that's for like graduations and things.
Yeah, we're using the parties, the proms, that sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's just like an extra.
It is all it was, and that simply stemmed from way back when I was doing wedding photos, and I'd be leaving at 9 o'clock, and there's a photo booth guy there telling me he's just charged 450 quid to be there for 3 hours. I'm like, well, that's only 2 more hours than I'm here. So why am I not just buying this booth and setting it up? So we don't do a huge amount of them, but as the team has now grown, and I've got staff that want to earn a bit of extra money, want to do a bit extra overtime. You know what? When I was 30s, probably it was a great night out, standing there just chatting to people, pressing the space bar, handed them prints, cracking, easy way to earn money. So actually, for us to then monetize that and give our staff a bit extra that doesn't come off the bottom line of the main business, that's what we're going to try and use it for, and try and use it for the greater good of the team, as opposed to, I'm going to run a photo booth business and make an extra 50 grand a year, because that's not going to happen with the effort that I'm prepared to probably put into it. Without it detracting from the schools market. Because,
absolutely.
You're probably very similar in that there's always ideas, there's always things going, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. But when we drill it back down and say, well, what's profitable? Where should I spend the energy? Where should I spend the time?
Absolutely.
And we've got a couple of staff that are really keen to start doing various different studio type stuff or party stuff. And it's lovely to be in a position to support them to do that. That if the business makes 200 quid, they make 200 quid, then who's moaning? No one's moaning. They couldn't do it on their own. We couldn't do it without them. It's a great thing. But fundamentally for me, we know that the schools and the way that the school system works is what is maintaining the roofs over everyone's heads and keeping the business profitable. But I think that a huge part of, there are 2 parts of it, is what do the schools want, what do parents want, keep that one side, but what does the industry need, and how do we all collate? So the idea that the guys have got with the UK Association that we're looking to get together and we're involved in, I think that's going to be a fantastic addition to
Yeah, absolutely.
to the industry, and just to allow people. Obviously, Harry's got this conference in January that hopefully everyone will have seen about. We'll stick a link to it somewhere.
Yeah.
And you guys are looking to put a plan
We're
together.
looking to do something a little bit different. So ours is like more of a party.
Ooh.
So one thing that frustrates me, and I realise it's a commercial necessity, is when you're being when these things are hosted by a company, we don't always get to just talk about what we want to talk about as school photography owners without someone trying to sell us something. If we were able to gather as a group of school photography specific owners without anyone else there, I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
You would get, and I don't mean, sometimes I go to these things with a bit of hubris, and I'm like, oh, why am I sitting through this? Then I hear something, I go, oh shit, that's why I'm here. But I don't want to really be telling people how to do it, because I don't know, they might be better. They probably are better. I'm stuck in my ways doing it. So yeah, my idea is kind of just to have a little bit of a invite of people, see if you can prove the concept, that people will come and just have a fun.
Yeah, and just have this conversation of going.
Yeah, so more round tables. I mean, there has to be a structure. It can't just be like,
big piss up.
Yeah, big piss up.
You say that.
It can be in the evening, but there has to be some structure. But I thought maybe like round tables, things like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to, that's where I get the most value, is when we're sat around talking about a thing, a subject.
And one of the good things that was happened at one of the events we was at recently was where the room sort of split into the size of businesses, and the beauty I found with that was that there was no ego of going, oh, I've got this many schools, I've got that many schools, and nobody was made to feel, okay, you've got 30 schools, you're at the beginning of your journey, go to that room. What that did was made it really specific to their own needs and to get the most out of that event, was to be able to say, well, let's talk about problems that we're all having collectively. Yeah, because they're not the same, are they? The problems change as you say.
They do absolutely change. And I'd love to hear the problems of bigger companies. Like, we can learn things from them as well. So they will be invited.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of open invite. Because I know, we've talked about this as well, like salespeople and companies being demonized for doing a good job. Ultimately, they're doing a good job. You might not agree with it, but they're successful in what they're doing. And I think just putting a face to them, talking to the people, is a good thing, because you can work. Those bigger companies might need something that we can be more nimble. We can operate more quickly.
And I think that to a person that I have met at any of these events, there isn't, even if I didn't want to say their name on it, but there isn't anyone that I've met that, if we had a preconceived idea because they work for a certain company, that would be true. Everyone I've come across is of a similar mindset, and you might have different ways of doing it than what you do, than what I do. We've got different ways of doing it, but actually people being open to listening and sharing and having conversation and going, actually, you know what, we're all just doing this to try and nick a living for our family rather than having a job somewhere else. And actually we can add value to the kids, to the schools, to the families, to our staff, to our teams and each other. For me, it's a perfect storm. It's a perfect situation.
I mean, I think that goes towards what you were saying earlier about the perception of it, parents and things. Do think in the past there was a lot of money going around school photography. I mean, I was kind of coming into it, but I remember going to early days conferences, and there were Porsches, and there were, stuff that we don't have the margins to do that nowadays. And fair play to everyone who does that, but I don't know if money should be the primary driving goal of this, because you're gonna, price is gonna rise so much that it's going to become a nonsense. You know, I think the argument is like, we don't want prices to bottom out. I agree with that because you've got to make a minimum amount.
Yeah.
But I also don't want people to think what we make is a rip-off.
Yeah.
Because it's not. If we can convey, no, for this much, and this goes to our skills, is we can send a photographer to go and do a full day's work in there. Then we can get back. We can send that order to your phone. You can immediately see it.
Yeah.
And then you can order it for about 10 quid. I bought a coffee at McDonald's last night. I bought my daughter a McDonald's last night. That was 10 quid.
Yeah.
For about 10 quid, you can order something physical that is posted to your house or to the school. I mean, I think that's
cracking value.
Extraordinary value.
Yeah.
You know, if we could convey that to people,
and I think people get that. I think most of them, they do. Oh, I mean, we see on our sales, 50% of people get it anyway. Don't know about the others. But it is it's the pricing side of things, the value side of things, because we also have to make sure that the schools continue to keep letting us go in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we've had schools say, we're not having photos that are too expensive for our parents.
Yeah.
You know, not a massive amount, but enough to make you sort of sit up and listen.
Yeah, yeah. We had one school said that they're doing it themselves. One school, they had a teacher that was a photography teacher, and they literally said, "Yeah, we're going to do it ourselves over the course of a week, and we're going to sell it to the parents for a £5 each as a fundraiser for the school." I was like, "Oh my god, that's."
I mean, I think when they start having to deal with the customer service side of that, it might be a bit different.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's not as simple as just do it, take it, have the money. As soon as you get involved in that, then everything else involved in the business becomes a bottleneck. Which again, we talk about adding value. When we add the value to the schools, when we're saying to the secretary when we're finished, all done, job's all done, we're done by lunchtime. Teachers have all got the access codes, nothing you need to do. You'll get a box of orders in 3 weeks. And they're like, okay. Because on the cash events and cash time that was going on, parents were standing there with a tenner for an £8.50 pack, expecting £1.50 back from the school.
Yes.
And
like
the level of admin that we request from the school now is far, far less than it ever was.
Very minimal. Yeah.
But I think they've
become. I mean, this does go to commission. This kind of goes to, you know, I sort of agree with them doing, you know, they were handling a lot of cash, so they needed to get some commission out of it.
And also, they were quite aware of the value of orders.
Yeah.
You know, they were very, very aware of the value of the orders that had come in and with cash and with all the effort, because it's right that we should pay for a bit of their time to process our money coming in, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it does come back to, like you say, the schools still want and need the money, but the value that they're adding to the process is now not required as much because we're paying it to our. I've got photos on NetLife, so Stripe, all the other things that are processing that for them, and we're saving the money on the physical people sitting there counting it, the labour to count it and process it. But I think that the commission is something that is always going to be a bone of contention, and everyone's got an opinion on, isn't it? So I think that, you know, people listening have got to make their own decision, really. And
I think it's the same as pricing. You know, you offer what you need and what you can. You know, it's that's the fun of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Yes, that's the hustle, isn't it? That is the hustle.
Yeah, the hustle. Yeah.
What can you do? How can you add value? What can you? I mean, do you ever do anything with any like referral schemes for schools to refer you? Have you got?
Yeah.
You've got stuff in place.
Yeah. They tend not to take it up. I think there are so many people working in that office sometimes that it's hard to get to the right person, and one person really likes an idea, but they're so busy during the day that we're not important to their, we're not important to the general running of a school. Although it's our world, we're just a passing thought or a day in the calendar to them.
Aside.
I
had a Chinese school yesterday, and I got there at 8 o'clock, and the lady in office was sitting there doing the finance stuff. And she said that the trust had been on her case. She'd been off for 2 weeks. Trust were on her case to get the finance finished and done because they couldn't do what they needed to do until she had that. So she's sitting at the window trying to do this finance stuff, stressing out. And you've got governors coming in for their pictures that I think they had a minimum age of 70. So they've got nothing to do. They're standing there chatting to her about the weather and about their plants. And she's like, I just need to concentrate and get this done. And I think being able to just read the room is a skill that is probably really undervalued in this industry. I mean, I'm not going to stand and talk to her for too long. She has not got time for this. This is a quick smile, quick joke. You got no problems. Love you, bye. But yeah, being able to get them small wins. If we've walked out of there and she's gone, yeah, that was good. That was easy. As opposed to going, I didn't have 5 minutes to spend and talk to him about his process. None of it went in. Don't care.
Yeah, I think, like you said about the spring thing, going in spring, taking another set of photos. And I think instead of thinking about it all in money terms, what value can you add to the school? How can you be someone that the school goes to and asks for the things they need? So you're not just that one-day photographer.
Yeah.
We've not worked it out yet. We've not entirely worked out what that looks like. But if a school rings and asks for something, then we do our damnedest to try and help them out with it. It could be designing a flyer or, ID cards. That's obviously a common one, but that's kind of a product, But we get some weird and wonderful asks, and we'll take that off them and then try and do something with it. And then you go, oh, maybe more schools need this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, we've mentioned David a few times, but about his hoodies thing that he got off hoodies and stuff and decided to invest in that and put it in place. And there's so many of these things that are available to us to bolt on to the business.
Yeah.
And being able to then just add that little bit of extra. I mean, our spring term this year was the best spring term we've ever had with the desktop portraits.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of teachers in other schools that are, you guys are the ones that done the spring ones in the library. And that little bit of momentum just really helps.
Absolutely.
Not all schools go for it, but having a termly touch point for us was really important so that they don't forget, but then we're not a burden. It's a real seesaw, isn't it? There are people out there that, and we've got a couple of schools that we go to once a year. That's all they want. We'll put you in for next year. Do not darken my door.
No, we have those as well.
Yeah, and
they're great because
great days.
But I found, like, as a smaller school photographer, we're not national. We're nimble and we're kind of local. We kind of stick around our area on purpose.
Yeah.
An example is we went into school and did some lessons for photography.
Yes.
That's not commercially viable. Like, that's not something, but that's, we have a lot of time, and it's not always the amount of money you're going to make from this. It's more like, will this improve the relationship? It doesn't always have to be a commercial decision, I don't think.
No.
Maybe that's a bad business sense, I don't know. But I mean, we're kind of, we've been doing this for 20 plus years, and we always do okay.
Yeah.
Everyone gets paid, but I operate on that sort of ethos of not everything has to be commercially viable from day one. It doesn't need, like an assessment done of how much money we're going to make at the end of this. 100%. Sometimes it's just a nice thing to do.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there. And when we spoke at, when we had dinner that time, when we had this exact conversation of saying, actually, the feel good of giving back and the feel good of supporting and seeing people's eyes light up at the idea of an opportunity and almost being able to just switch a switch in a youngster's mind of going, oh, maybe I could do that. And it's not just the kids, when we talk about supporting other businesses, that seeing someone or hearing someone go, I'm going to try that, and then knowing that they can get success for it, there is, I don't know, I don't know if it's an ego thing. I think there is a thing there that makes you feel good. And money makes you feel good, of course it does. But also doing good really makes you feel good, as long as it's not to the detriment of the business and all the other stuff that you go. We can't give everything away for free, but we can also probably give a lot more than we ever currently do.
Yeah.
Because spending time in the schools and almost volunteering a bit of our time or a bit of our expertise or whatever it might be, that is stuff that they can't just go and Google and find and get.
No.
Um,
Absolutely not. They don't have time as well to go and work out how to do a thing, learn it just for that one event or one thing that they need.
I think for me, the industry, the thing that really resonates with them kids and helping the kids that are interested in whatever we've got to say, I'd be really interested to. I don't know if we ever could see or find the stats, but how many people that are in our position that are running a business that I'll say successful business, if we're profitable and in their longevity, then if you're running a successful business, how many of them people were great students at school? Because I wasn't. And I would imagine there's a number of us that were a little bit on the fringes and academically not necessarily where the school would want you to be for their grades.
Absolutely.
Well, we can't go into school and say school's not worth doing, just focus on learning stuff. But we can support and give a little bit of hope to those students that are a bit lost. I mean, we had a conversation, didn't we? That is something that I think we'd both like to get involved in, is somehow how do we give something back to schools that isn't money, that isn't photos, but is experience and life experience that we've learned.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It kind of, I'm going to get, my philosophy on this is, I remember not having any money at all, me and my wife in the day, and one time we got double shopping from Tesco direct, and it was one of my favorite days ever in history. I mean, you're talking like over 20 years ago. But then I also remember the day where I could put anything in my shopping cart at the supermarket and know that I could afford it.
Yeah.
And then money stopped being so much of a metric to measure success. I'm very lucky to be in that position.
Lucky and work hard.
Luck and hard work. But I mean, there are people with a lot more roadblocks than I've had that can't get, that don't appreciate that.
I think that is part of the phase of growing through the process of growing the business and stuff. It's well documented that for a number of years I paid staff more than I was taking out of the business. And I'm sure we've all gone through that. That is part of what we sign up to. And without a supportive wife next to you going, I get it, I'm here with you, but don't screw it up. I'm like, okay, we'll try not to. But you're right, 100%, that you always get to a point where, okay, it's secure, or it's secure for now. There is always that little thought of going, shit, I don't want to lose it. But that, I think, is the next.
COVID was the biggest thing of, and I think I think that made me move the metric from money. It doesn't. I can talk to people and I feel like I'm being kind of hippy dippy about it, but I'm much happier when I remove that out of the equation.
Yeah.
But again, I'm lucky to be in that position where I can afford my bills every month. You
can only remove it, can't you? You can only remove it when it's not a massive key. When it's not the other side of the line, almost. I think that if the bills are not being paid and you're having to chase your tail constantly, and staff are being laid off and what have you, and none of us are immune from shit hitting the fan. We're all only one really negative Facebook post away that doesn't get managed well from having big trouble.
But wouldn't it be nice to know that you've got a group of people in a similar situation that you can ring if that does happen?
Yeah, 100%. Who will have your back? Who aren't going to? Who aren't going to be going? Well, we're going to throw you under the bus, and we're one bad employee, one bad recruitment away from a whole host of headaches. This cyber attack that Harry was talking about recently, that there was a cyber attack over in, was it Germany? Is it Germany was? Or
yeah, I believe it was.
And a system's been hacked through an email system, and all of a sudden it's really hit the fan.
Yeah, and this I raised a point in the little chat we have that not everyone knows about cybersecurity. Like They'll probably know the basics, but do they know how to audit it? A person on the hustle who's trying to make themselves get those customers and stuff shouldn't have to worry about learning the cybersecurity. I know you do. You have to kind of pick that up as you go. But wouldn't it be nice if someone knew about that and could help you out with it?
Yeah.
In a non-judgmental way. Not like, oh, you don't do your GDPR correctly. Go, oh, why don't you do it like this?
Yeah.
At least offer some guidance on it.
Having a company that could do an audit and could put a standard set of going, here's what you need to do, here's how to do it, I'll help you do it, it's going to cost you this much a month, a year, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
If you're doing it as a group, we can obviously do a better discount on it. Their business gets some continuity, and then all of the people that are involved in it can go perfect. Because by the default of us doing what we do, we're never possibly going to be experts in all of it, are we?
No.
HR,
no.
We all use some version of HR, whether that is an online AI system or a company that we're paying externally.
Yeah.
All of these things that are risks to the business, it would be great to have some sort of a package that just goes, right, here's the things that are going to catch you out from experience of other people. I was caught out with this. I missed that. I should have done that. VAT bill, definitely should have put money aside for VAT and somebody's missed it.
Yeah.
All of these little things that only experience will teach you. Because if it's not the experience that teaches you, you'll never get started because you'll be procrastinating and scared of it.
Yes.
And I've got friends who are trying to get a business going, but there's always a reason why not. Can't go here because of that. Can't do this because of that. I need that camera. I need that next model of camera before I can do that. You don't. Get out and do it.
Yeah. I feel I'd feel like a little bit of a pretender telling someone how to do it, but Marcus often reminds you just know how to do this. It's not something you think about, and the same with him. Like, because we've been doing it so long, we don't consider that to be a roadblock or an important thing. We can just do it as a side job.
Yeah.
While we're dealing with everything else.
Yeah, you can constantly find a solution.
Yeah, because we've done it probably because we've made the mistake. And I wouldn't want anyone to make the stressful mistakes I've made.
No.
Because it's just not very pleasant.
But then I don't know. I don't partly agree with that. It's not pleasant, but actually,
it does teach you.
Actually, you wouldn't wish it on anyone. Of course, you wouldn't, and that it'd be pretty horrible if you did start wishing that stuff on people. But you probably wouldn't if you could have shortcutted that before. If someone had told you don't do this before you did it, would you change it?
No. No.
I mean, I've got a handful of things. Yeah, same story. I'm like, would I have changed it? I don't know, because. But
if I think back, they weren't particularly. I mean, if I think back to COVID, it was horrible. That day, 23rd of March, just got back from America. The phone was ringing off the hook with cancellations.
Yeah,
and it was just like a horrible feeling. You had to send the staff home. I think we said we'd pay them 50% before anything came out. And then I went a bit mad. And then me and Marcus were sat in the office. We came straight back trying to, put something together, make something. I hated it at the time, but when I look back, it was kind of formative.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't that long ago, but there's been examples before that when the lab's broken, when, there was no paper being delivered and it was mid-season.
Ran out of all yellow inks in Europe. At one point, you didn't get any ink for the yellow ink for the Epsom. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. But I mean, now looking back, they were kind of formative of that. I don't run around shouting and screaming if something goes wrong. I, deal with it differently.
Yeah, you're right. That looking back at that period, because we got through it, and there was an awful lot of people that didn't, and businesses that didn't get through it, and them listening to this going, yeah, all right, we're sorry for you sitting there 6 years on, but actually there were a lot of things that happened then that really made you look in the mirror and go, what am I about? What are we about? Pull the team in. What are we here for it? And are we?
I mean, guidance though to those people, like this has happened to me.
Yeah.
Give them an example. But I think one thing that is difficult for photographers, if you go into this because you're a photographer, or whether you go into this by accident or whatever reason it is, most people aren't extraordinarily experienced IT infrastructure experts.
No.
And unfortunately, we're not just photographers anymore. We run quite complex IT infrastructure.
Yeah.
Whether we realize it or not, again, you know, we kind of audit the stuff. Now, if I was to give that to anyone else here, they go, what the hell is? But we've kind of grown with it. One thing I think that people might not do is order that, you know, put it into an order.
Yeah.
They've done it, they've made it, and they're probably running this infrastructure. But if the worst happened, I think Harry raised this point. Could they back up?
Yeah.
Does the backup work? You know.
If you shut the doors tomorrow, can you go again and still service the people that
yeah.
Service?
Like those are things that I would never ever want to go through.
No.
Yeah, we've tested it because it's gone wrong.
Yeah.
You know, something has not a hack or anything, but a drive's died, and you know we've had to recover the whole thing.
And the thing is, you hear stories of people leaving companies and taking the paper diary with them back in the day, and the company not having a clue about what they're meant to be doing and where they're meant to be going. By the time you've pulled the bones out of it and fixed it, it's done. You're in trouble, aren't you? So yeah, I think there's a lot of exciting things to be done and had within, like, peer to peer. So between us, you know, we've got Dave, we've got Harry, we've got this UK association that we're looking to get going for the greater good, and we want as many people from as many different size businesses as possible to hear things like this, hear conversations like this, and know that no one's doing it with ulterior motives.
No.
You know, that we might not all agree. We don't all have to agree. It's probably better we don't. But we can all respectfully listen and understand and go, that's not for me. Or, that's a great move. And I think that the suppliers into the industry supporting that, I know obviously Harry's got some stuff going in January for this conference in January over at Heathrow. Yeah. I think he's got various suppliers coming in. And from when I was talking to him, he was planning to just have different suppliers from within the same section, all just presenting what they're doing. They might all get an amount of time and let people make their choice, let people make their decision. Because that transparency is ultimately what we all want, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I remember I don't know if anyone still around from the old PSPA days. I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from that. That was so at that stage when it was still going, I was a photographer, kind of just developing the lab.
Okay.
So I wasn't like in any of these conversations really that much.
Yeah.
But I remember it feeling like an old boys club. I didn't feel like comfortable approaching anyone. I wouldn't have started a conversation because, you know, the bigger operators in the room didn't seem very open.
Yeah.
You know, it was cliquey.
Yeah.
I think it was like, well, we all use this person, and I wouldn't want to. I think any restrictions to the individuals involved hampers progress.
100% agree with that.
You know, people should be encouraged innovation. Go to who you want. These people are doing this, and we find them reliable. You know, if I could say, I'm not going to mention any companies. There's a list of companies. We use different companies for things.
Yeah, of course.
And I go, I find this reliable.
Yeah.
But Lee finds this reliable.
Yeah.
That, brilliant. But also, someone might go put the effort in where I can't be bothered to go and find a small startup who's doing something really cool that I want to be a part of. And, and if you restrict it, then it's not for me. Yeah.
I think by the default and by nature of going, you've got to do this, you sound similar to what I do, and going, no, I don't. Like,
this is why I could never have a job. I'm quite good at daily tasks, but when I start getting told you have to do this, well, I've kind of made this job so no one can tell me I have to do this.
Yeah.
You can advise me, and I will 100% listen.
Yeah, I respect it.
But I'm not being told. I'm not being told
But
what
the
to do.
reverse of that is that for us to have the freedom to do that and run like that is that we need the team, we need the staff. Well, I've got people that will work to the minute to their contracted hours, and that suits them. That suits them perfectly, and that actually probably suits us perfectly as well. For some people, and we've got other people who will go way above and beyond without being asked. And there's things that have been done that I haven't even considered yet. And by the time I consider them, they're done and finished. I'm like, how have you? Thank you. So it really, as it gets to the scaling point of building a team, and we've got sort of 20 odd people in our team now, that all different skill sets, all different hours. It's not a factory, we're not stopping at 10:15 to have a cup of tea and carrying on again at past with a bell going. But that team has to work together and all have an understanding that everything's slightly different. Because if I were to put it on paper, some people could look at this and go, well, that's not really fair that I'm doing that.
I'm completely understanding I'm completely understanding where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I've had the same conversations and stuff, and that's great. This is stuff we could maybe advise people as they're coming up to stop really negative stuff.
Yeah.
Like from that, really negative stuff's happened, and people have felt bad.
Yeah.
Because they think it's unfair and stuff. And sorry to interrupt. You were describing it perfectly.
You're absolutely right.
You were describing that situation perfectly.
I think that the feeling of unfairness comes from a lack of transparency.
Yeah.
Now, we've got one of the girls today she works Fridays. It's her kids' sports day today. She didn't know till last night if it was going to be on or off because of the weather. I'll always say to all the team, I do not want you missing anything that your kids are meant to be doing.
Yeah.
If your kid's looking from stage or from a sports pitch and they should see you there, you be there. Because that is far more important. Thank you, Lydia. That is far more important than the 3 hours that you're going to spend sitting at your desk.
Yeah.
I don't expect it back. I don't want the time back. Don't forget it. That is how we are working here. But don't take the piss out of it. But by the same token, we've got people that don't have kids here that won't get that 3 hours necessarily. But if they need it, they can have it. Because I really strongly have stood on the fact of I want to give people more than I take and give them the opportunity to let me down with the confidence they won't.
Yeah.
Because I've proven enough times for me to be confident in that system. And, the people that aren't off today at a sports day that are in here working, picking up the pieces for a member of staff that's not here, not one of them are moaning about it because they know that they'll get their bit at some point.
Yeah.
But that's something that I haven't seen if you're looking at metrics and if you're looking at value per hour of member of staff and spreadsheets and all the other stuff, then what I'm talking about makes no sense.
No, and I've been told that people have said, "Oh, you're too nice," and I don't think that's true because no one really wants to disappoint me as much as I don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
I really hate the term boss when someone says boss, like we're working together in what we're doing to achieve a common goal. But I just think it's far more productive to be nice to people. And you raise the point of the sports day, like that 3 hours sat at that desk. What are they actually going to achieve?
Nothing.
That I couldn't just step in and do, or someone else can do it, or it can be done later. Or we're school photographers. It feels time sensitive, but we're not in the army.
No.
We're not in the armed forces or police having to be at a place at a certain, it's not the same sort of thing. The hours are very seasonal, so it's never going to be a massively high paid job. No. At least be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%. And at least feel that you've got that level of respect and that autonomy, and you're working as part of that team. And one of our girls, she heads up our printing department, and there might be 2 hours of the day that she's dancing around singing or doing all sorts of various other stuff that she needs to get out of her head. And again, if someone if there was a business coach pop in and look in and go, well, what's she doing? That's not
Yeah.
productive. That's not effective. You're wasting X, Y, Z amount of money every month. But I'm not. I'm building a culture, and I'm allowing them to form their own culture with a bit of an oversight of going, yeah, I'm here for that. I can see you smiling. I can see the work's done. All of them prints that are on that table are ready to be packed. You've produced what you needed to produce. If we were falling behind and people were dicking around and trying to sneak off, and different story. But we don't do, I don't know if you do, we don't do official lunch breaks.
They do it. They do it.
Yeah.
So no, I don't. I'm very much like, well, just take it whenever you want.
Do what you need.
But they like the structure of that. I go for a walk. So every lunchtime I try to get out and go for a walk. It can be at it's around lunchtime, you know.
Yeah. So we've got, some of the girls, they'll nip to Tesco's together, or they'll pop to town quickly because one of them needs to get a dress or something or other. But just, I've never looked and gone, you left at 10 to 12 and you got back at 1:55 or whatever it may be. It's just, there isn't a win there for me in doing that.
No. Because it's not Victorian England in the Industrial Revolution, is it? You know.
I mean, I don't know if that system works on scale, but when you does it work when you get to 50 staff, 60 staff? I don't know. Does the culture change? Does it? I mean, at the moment, I like to think it sort of self-polices itself. Is that if you've got someone taking a piss, the system's going to call it out. It is a bit animal nature style, I suppose. Is that if one of the pack isn't doing what it's meant to be doing, the rest of them are going to call it out. It is.
Yeah, some people will call that lazy management. I do the same. Yeah. Some people would, but I don't. I think I get to the point of, if it really becomes an issue, then I'm like, you're making us have these conversations.
Yeah.
I don't want to have this conversation. I find it embarrassing. Yeah. We're both adults. Like, why do we need to have this conversation? And I genuinely do feel embarrassed speaking to someone like that.
Yeah.
And I think everyone knows that. At first, when we get a new employee, they treat me a certain way.
Yeah.
They talk to me a certain way, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I used to talk to my boss like that.
Yeah.
And then eventually they kind of soften it, and then they get that we're just working together on a common goal.
I think that when we take new photographers out, so I don't do a huge amount of that now. We've got a photography manager, she manages it, and we kind of send them out with various different members of staff that are experienced. But when I'm on a job with someone, I look forward to it because I'm like, great, we get to spend the day together, we get to find out a bit, chat, do this, And my missus pointed it out to me. She went, yeah, you're 45 and their boss, right? They're mid-20s going out with their boss for their first job with their boss. I'm like, it's not like that. She said, no, not for you. But it probably is. They're probably not sleeping well the night before because they don't want to screw up because it's their new job that they've always wanted or they've got. And so just trying to take that friction away as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like you say, you don't need to walk in and shout and scream at people and pull everyone up, because putting a good team in place and sort of management at levels allows for that to happen.
And don't get me wrong, I've learned this. I used to think that's how it used to work because that's what I learned in other jobs. It's not like I came in and I was like some like over time though, I'm like, oh yeah, people leave. Yeah. If I get really angry and there's no working with you. No. It's just not a good situation. I mean, I've done it. I've been that guy. Never too bad because I always had rubbish bosses when I was from 16 onwards until I came here, and it was like I was like, yeah, this is how something should be done.
Yeah,
but I'd still carried over bad habits, that I'd learned from managers before. This is how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, I mean that. Neil, I spoke to Neil Sweeney. I spoke to Neil a fair bit about it because he runs the EOS model, doesn't he, of the real data driven improvements within businesses. And I think that there are two real opposite ends. I mean, we've got a long way to go to match up to improve that side of things and looking at KPIs and looking at all of this side of things. and I don't know if that needs to be looked at closer at a scale. I don't know if that becomes detrimental to the business in going, right, well, here's our key focus points. This is what I want you to do. These are the things you've got to now do. I don't know. It's something that is obviously proven, and it obviously works. And does it work with certain groups? I'd love to find out. I'd love to.
But I mean, your place will look different to here, and the difference will be not in the operation, not in the daily tasks we're doing. We're probably doing exactly the same daily tasks, but the culture and because it's coming from us.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm not. Do you say it was Neil who was data driven and I'm never going to do that because my brain's all over the place. I wouldn't be able. I could happily do the maths, and I do sometimes enjoy a spreadsheet.
Yeah,
but I also kind of like the human chaos of it all. Yeah. I find my brain finds order in chaos. That's when I'll be my calmest, when everything's going mad.
But I think the beautiful thing about all of this is that we have got these opposite ends of the spectrum. We have got the opposite ends of the scale. We've got all of it clearly works in its own way. Yeah. So for us to be able to kind of open eyes and go, oh, okay, well, we could all be a bit more productive if we just let go a bit more, or if we just hold a bit more, or do we need to be more productive? Is it profitable? Is the balance right?
Yeah.
How much bigger do you want to get? We're obviously I'm looking at options to try and see about some form of acquisition of anyone that wants to come out. I'd love to do that for not for.
Sorry, someone's just walked in.
That's all right, no worries. Not for the money side of things, more for the journey of it. And if there's a business that someone's looking to get out of, but they've built over a number of years and they've built relationships with their schools and they don't want it to fall on its arse, I'd like to believe that we could be trusted to do that, to take what they've built and hopefully add some stuff into it and improve it and keep the legacy going.
Yeah, that'd be another cool thing of getting people together. You've got an exit route that will be kind of respectful, and me. I spoke to someone, I can't remember who it was, who's like 50 schools in the 50s.
It was in Birmingham, wasn't it? It was in Birmingham in the car park.
No, he was a little older, looking to retire. Oh, okay. This was kind of probably early to mid 50s. He looked well for his age. Anyway, he looked better than I do for my age. Just stressed by certain elements of it, and I was thinking, could that person work for us, but still kind of manage the schools without any of the responsibility as it is? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without having to do the accounts and things like that. Like, those are conversations that you can have in a bar when it's photographers around, and see if you trust the person. It's one-on-one. It's there's a lot of personal stuff involved in these businesses.
Because we've all put a huge amount of heart and soul and effort and hours and, missed time with the kids and the wife and come home stressed and fed up. Everyone else that's in this position will have gone through that.
Yeah.
I'm even more so. And, the idea of someone retiring from the industry and just letting them schools go into the pot, I don't like it.
I know.
They work too hard for that. They deserve to get something out of it at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
They deserve to get a bit of a thanks and see their schools and clients and the office managers they've worked with and built the trust up to be able to pass something on to them. Yeah. But, as always with these things, the valuations, how do the valuations work? How does it? I don't think there is a cookie cutter approach of saying it's $4 quid a head. That's the value of a school photography business without premises and vehicles, whatever it may be. I think it just has to come down to exactly what you just said. Personal. What do you want out of it? Where do we sit with it? What's the long goal? Are we all happy? Job done. Matters to nobody else, does it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
It just doesn't. So, but I don't. The open forum of people being able to have the discussion and know that they can go into a place that is people in there is trusted. It's not a Shark Tank where people are trying to
100%. Well, whenever we have these conversations, I just don't. A public forum isn't the place because I need to stop and think because you're just like,
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you should be able to. You should be telling people what the business is worth and things like that. It's a very personal decision,
Yeah.
and I don't know what that would look like for me.
No, and it would look very different for you, for us, for everybody else that's involved in it. And I think it needs to be on an individual conversation basis of what is everyone looking to get out of it. But that can only start from a point of trust and looking someone in the eye, shaking their hand, sitting across a table and having a bit of food together and saying, look, can we make it work? And not being afraid to say no and walk away from it.
Yeah.
It's not disrespectful to do that. It's not disrespectful to say, this isn't for me. I don't think it's the right fit.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes that's the thing, isn't it? We occasionally there's schools that we all have that we go, I just don't think we're the right ones for you. We've got nursery at the moment in that scenario. Just every time we go there, there's a problem of some sort. And there's an expectation that is far beyond what is reasonable. And we always find that the times that we do stuff away from what our normal process is. So this scenario is that they will never give us names of the kids in the nursery, 150-year-old nursery, never give us names. Then the nursery said to the parents, the school photography company are going to email you all with your access codes. So how are we going to do that?
Yeah.
How do we do that? So then we've got parents calling in the office. We had about 15 parents for this one nursery calling saying, well, we were told you were going to send us an email. And the girls in the office are going, I've got no way to contact you. Until you've just phoned me, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
But it's always when stuff goes out of the ordinary sync. That
I say this quite often, and I mean it in the most positive way because I'm referring to myself. I think like we need to operate like McDonald's. We're the McDonald's of the photography world. And I know that can come across. I've said that to people before, and they've gone, "What?" I'm insulting them. It's insulting, but I'm like, it's efficient. It's the same thing over and over again. As soon as we bring in the McRib, if it's not without any planning, you things can start getting wrong. Orders start getting late. There's a very systematic way to do things.
Yeah, there really is.
Yeah.
And actually, to be efficient and repeatable and consistent and give people what we're promising, it needs an element of that. I mean, look at how well McDonald's trains its staff. And most of them youngsters. I think I saw the other day they recruited something like 45,000 under 18s in the last year.
Yeah.
That training process and that level of business operation to be able to get whatever one you go to, you're going to get within reason the exact same Big Mac.
Yeah, and we're asking a lot more of our photographers in particular.
Yeah.
A lot more.
So yeah, there's certainly stuff to be done. So I mean, we could talk all day, mate. I think.
You know what? We could talk all day, and that's why we need a day where everyone can get together and talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, have we? Do you think we've covered everything you wanted to talk about?
I think we've mentioned. I think the association that we're talking about, the UK School Photographers Association, that is currently being advertised and marketed out there, from seeing the initial bones of it and from seeing the initial conversations that we've had and various other people involved have had, I think it is a massive, massive potential benefit to the industry and to business owners. Yes, it needs a bit of working out what it's about and where it's at, but that really needs to come from photographers giving their thoughts and what they would like to see from it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it. There are many people involved in this, but I would like to see it more of a sort of board, cooperative, run by the members. That's where I'm at with it. I don't particularly want to be a face of it or anything, but I do want to speak to everyone who's there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bit of imposter syndrome that I think when I'm telling people what to do or how to do it, it doesn't sit well with me. I don't feel very comfortable doing that with people.
Well, I don't think in all the times that we've spoke, Martin, I don't think that I've ever heard or seen you present something as saying, "Here's how you should do it." I think that you are fantastic at sharing experiences and being very respectful in saying, "This has worked for me. Actually, I don't necessarily agree with that, but you're welcome to it. I don't have to agree with it." But so I think I hear you with the imposter syndrome. This,
Yeah, this is why I kind of like this, a forum, rather than standing there and saying, "This is what I think."
Yeah, but actually, that will hold a lot of weight and value to a lot more people than you think.
Yeah, well,
you know what you know, and there's a lot.
Hopefully, we'll speak to some more people. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, it's awkward if there's just 3 or 4 of us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need more people. We need more opinions. I think we need them from the right people, and we need to be asking the right questions.
Yeah,
as well. I think we're all we've gone away from the initial thing. We're thinking about questions, and then we're going to put that together, and a questionnaire is going to go out.
Yeah,
I think that's the current way we're looking at it.
Yeah, and when the questionnaire goes out, and when there's additional notes and stuff on there, that no one within the organisation of creating this is sitting there going, "I've got all the answers. You need to listen to me." I think everyone's in the same boat of going, "What works? How do we all make this work together?" Because yes, some people happen to have pulled the plug on it. David's been instrumental in making things happen.
Absolutely.
And then it needs the input from people to go. I mean, I think we spoke, didn't we, and said that actually when we all launched our business, we didn't look at it and say, "How am I going to operate on 1,000 schools? How am I going to staff that? How many mouths do I need? What printers am I using?" None of us looked at that. We've all looked at going, right, I need 2 schools.
Yeah.
What worked? What didn't work? I need 10 schools. Brilliant. I can recruit someone at 30 schools. Shit, how do I manage that person and the school? So it's going to build a bit like that, I think, by nature of us getting something new off the ground.
Yeah.
But
I think another question that I ask myself about this is what do I want? What would I want from it as this kind of, in the middle kind of size business? And I think chats like these, chats with people with new ideas, experience, but ultimately a group of people that can make the industry, can we convey to people that we do care about the photos, we want to do a good thing, we're not just here sort of processing money. Someone's used the term, it's a monopoly, it's a racket, things like those sorts of comments. I know they're not that's not the most popular belief, but that's what we hear. Is there a way we could convey as an industry, get the prints united on something? Could we be, we work against each other, alongside, next to each other, but is there a common ground where we can all work together?
Well, I think that with regards to, you look at the social media side of things, and there's not a single school photography company in the UK or school photography operator in the UK that is running any sort of a positive social media to speak to parents and schools about what it is that we do. We're also busy doing what we're doing. But, I could tell you about a bloody pool cleaner in America who runs a business cleaning pools, who's all over TikTok.
Yeah.
I know more about his business than I do about some that are in our industry.
Yeah.
And I know it's slightly different because we have got the GDPR, we have got the child protection side of things. We can't go sharing stuff like that. But one thing that we want to really commit to trying to do is just get the story out there to the public about the people that are running it. And actually, we're not far different from most of the dads that may be going home after a day's work and trying to police the feral kids at home. I think that once, and you may get it as well, is that sometimes when you see stuff on social media, everyone's got this perception that it is a large conglomerate that's making fortunes, that we are Tesco's or Sainsbury's or whatever it may be, that is absolutely taking the money off of them and not caring about what they're getting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not. It just isn't that.
No.
One day. So, okay, mate. Well, look, let's. I reckon we'll park it there for now for this
Yeah.
podcast. Thank you so much for being involved with it. As I say, we could talk for hours. And
We could.
where do people get in touch with you, Martyn? I'll stick some links in, but where's the best place for people to get hold of you?
Industry, just email. I stick my email below.
Yeah.
In the comments, I guess.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll stick the contact details in. Martyn
Yeah.
or myself, we're always available to have a chat to. And yeah, let's keep trying to push for great things in the industry, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, if they've listened this far,
I mean, yeah, it's still in now. Good point.
Yeah, then just drop an email.
Yeah, we're sorry. Mate, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries.
Hang there.
Nice
Cheers,
to
bud.
meet you.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye-bye.